The responsibilities that citizens have during a time of disaster can be divided up into three different parts. The first part occurs before the disaster. Ensure that you are prepared as possible so that you do not need immediate rescue. Make sure you have money on hand so that you can purchase necessary items during the disaster if you do not already have them. Have a good supply of gasoline so that you can use generators to restore power. Gasoline also fuels machines that will help cut trees and move debris from roadways. You also want to make sure that you have enough batteries and flashlights if they come in very handy in power outages. Establish an escape plan either from your house should it be destroyed while you're in it, or from the immediate area should evacuation become necessary. At worst, plan on main roads being impassable and account for extensive traffic. If you have animals, come up with a plan on what you will do with them. Is it better to let them free and hope they have the instincts to survive, or is it better option to keep them with you and risk them becoming a hindrance? Medicine is essential during emergencies, whether it is for responding to injuries or it is medication that has been prescribed and is necessary for your well-being. Boarding up windows is a good way to prevent both injuries during an emergency, and it helps minimize damage from the elements should the windows break. Getting trained in basic first aid so that you can become part of the solution is smart, even if it is in very limited form. Now we move on to the second part, which is during the disaster. During the disaster, monitor local news reports is a must and should be done as soon as possible. Make sure you have a radio that is battery powered, as power may go out for extensive periods of time. Radios such as this one can get good range and are very useful. Local news reports will change, and you need to make sure to check in as often as possible to ensure you are current on the status of the disaster. The emergency and/or weather could still be in your general area. Secondary conditions such as flooding after a hurricane are possible, and staying informed on these conditions is essential. Other news reports consist of advice and instructions from local responding agencies and/or governmental agencies on how to respond and deal with the emergency. These reports may advise evacuation or shelter in place. Small generators, such as this one, can be plugged into a car and can power other tools. The last part of responsibilities the citizens have occurs after the disaster. Staying out of the way of first responders is important so that they are able to do their jobs as easily as possible. Stay off the roads as much as possible, as they will most likely be crowded with debris and people responding to true emergencies. During the aftermath of a disaster, try to help out those around you as much as possible. Recovery efforts will go much smoother if everyone lends a helping hand. Re-establish routines as soon as possible, as this will help trigger normalcy.